The following is an exclusive presentation of the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the AHSAA Radio Network.
Won their fifth straight state championship and their 13th.
Hey again, everybody, and welcome in to Inside the AHSAA. I'm your host, Luke Robinson. I want to thank you all for being with us again this week. We certainly do appreciate it. Took a week off last week. Sometimes things just get in the way, like life in general, but always ready for more talk when it comes to AHSAA football, and that's what we've got today. We're going to have Ms. Lizi Arbogast from the Alexander City Outlook. She's the sports editor there. She's going to share a few things going on in the area, Lake Martin community, also talk about the transition for her from Pennsylvania down to Alabama, and also, unfortunately, talk about a tragedy that happened in the Benjamin Russell community as well, and at the high school. Just a very sad moment there, and she will tell you all about that. Also going to talk to John Garcia. He joins our show all the time, recruiting expert. He does a fabulous job, and he had a great story on a kid that's at Jackson Olin High School, and it may not be one of the names you're thinking of. Stick with us and find out more. We'll be back in just a minute with Inside the AHSAA.
Even the best of us forget sometimes. But buckling up is one thing you always want to remember.
Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Take it easy. Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola going to give a real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes a snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt? Coke Zero Cola. Take a lap! Coke Zero. Real Coke taste. Zero.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Inside the AHSAA. I want to welcome in now a very special guest, Ms. Lizi Arbogast, the sports editor for the Alexander City Outlook. Lizi, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great, and I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about. We're going to talk about the teams in this area. I want to talk about what it's been like for you to move from Pennsylvania down to Alabama, and what football life has been like, and the differences from Pennsylvania to Alabama. But I think we have to lead this off with a very serious and tragic matter. Benjamin Russell lost a coach the other night. Unfortunate circumstances, a car wreck that unfortunately led to his death, and it's really a sad, sad story. Can you tell people about this story a little bit and how the school is coping with it at this moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, I talked to Benjamin Russell's head coach, Kevin Smith, yesterday, and he said, I think the kids are doing about as well as you could expect. Right, it's a hard thing no matter what, but also they're right in the middle of football season. He was a first-year coach at Benjamin Russell. He was an offensive line coach and also the offensive coordinator for the junior varsity team. He was a first-year teacher. Learned a little bit about him. His name was Curtis Glaze. He went to T.R. Miller, played for T.R. Miller, and then went on to get his bachelor's in English language arts education from the Auburn University. I had heard that he was actually at the Auburn game on Saturday night, so at least he went out with a hurrah. I think the kids are they're coping as much as they can, being that he was with the JV team so much and they're younger. I think they're probably having a more difficult time with it. But, in some ways, the show unfortunately must go on. They're still going to play their game on Friday night. And, I think it's one of those things where it can almost be a motivator. You want to win for your coach and those kinds of things. So hopefully, they'll be able to, do something good in his memory. And I did hear today they're going to wear black wristbands on Friday night and for the rest of the season. And they're also going to paint, which the Alexander City Parks and Rec is very good at doing the field, and they're going to paint a jersey with Coach Galaze's initials on the field on Friday night.
Yeah, it really is just a tragic story and very sad. I know that everybody at Benjamin Russell is certainly thinking of his family, and I believe his fiance, he had just gotten engaged, had he not?
Yeah, just gotten engaged, I believe, last weekend, so very recent. I'd heard that she was the JV cheerleading coach here at Benjamin Russell, and also he's a teacher here, so I think the whole kind of Benjamin Russell family is feeling this for sure.
Now, how, as a team, you get to cover this Benjamin Russell team, obviously. How do you think they respond to something like this? Obviously, football is not at the forefront of their mind right at this moment, but how do you suspect this affects Benjamin Russell going forward?
Well, kind of like I said, I think, while football isn't at the forefront and isn't obviously the most important thing, it puts things in perspective. But I also think, as far as everything I knew about Coach Glaze, he was a coach through and through. He loved coaching. He loved the kids. He loved football. And so he would want them to play. He would want them to, continue on and continue trying to win. And I do think it could be a kind of a rallying factor, if you will. And Benjamin Russell, I don't know if the state knows, but had another tragic death to a player during the summer. So it's been a hard couple of months for the Wildcat family, but I think it also is, it makes you a little bit more of a family. It makes you a little bit more of a brotherhood because you're all experiencing the same things together, and you have kind of a built-in support system because all the kids know what the other kids are going through.
Well, let's talk really quickly now as we transition back to football about how the teams in this area, and when I say this area, sort of the Lake Martin community, you've got Coosa, Central, you've got Benjamin Russell, Dadeville, Reeltown, Horseshoe Bend. How are those teams doing this year?
Well, it's going to be a long season for the Lake Martin area, I think, unfortunately. Benjamin Russell, I think, looks better than I expected them to look. This new offense that they've installed under Coach Smith looked phenomenal the first 2 weeks, and then sort of took a couple steps backwards last week and were shut out by Stanhope Elmore. And then other than that, Reeltown obviously now ranks number 3 in the state by the AHSAA. They look phenomenal, undefeated. And the other 3 teams are struggling a little bit. Dadeville is in a new region. They dropped down to Class 3A, which I think they match up a little bit better numbers-wise with some of those teams. And then Horseshoe Bend and Central Coosa are both still winless, looking for their first victory. Horseshoe Bend has to face off against Reeltown this week, so it probably isn't going to happen this week. But then they face each other next week. So, but there's some really bright spots in Reeltown, some promising things in Benjamin Russell, and some rebuilding going on in the other areas.
And finally, Lizi, what's this been like for you coming down from Pennsylvania to Alabama? Is there a huge difference in the way people view football in general?
Well, I think, I was in a small town in Pennsylvania as well, so people still cared about football, high school football up there where I was, but it's nothing like here. I actually wrote a column this past weekend about just how much stock is put into high school football, and I think I wrote, sometimes we got to take a step back and we got to remember it's just high school football, and these are high school football players. They're high school kids. But I think, it's just such a cool experience being down here, especially the Benjamin Russell Clay Central game really stands out to me because there was, people wall to wall. The stands were completely filled. The fence around the area, or around the field, people were all around it. So it's definitely it's a cool experience, and I think it's one of the things that those kids will never forget, playing under the Friday night lights,
Well, Lizzie, thank you so much for being with us on Inside the AHSAA. We will certainly have you on again soon, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Lizi Arbogast, sports editor for the Alexander City Outlook. We'll be back in just a minute.
Team is not something you do alone. Team is plural. Team is arms, legs, blood, sweat, and soul. A lot goes into team. But what we take away stays with us forever.
Have you heard the news? Your favorite chick is now online. That's right, you can now get Chicken Salad Chick even faster by visiting order.chickensaladchick.com. Chicken Salad Chick, born in Alabama and serving the best chicken salad around.
More heart.
More drive. More will.
More guts.
More sweat.
More dedication.
More practice. More control.
More clutch.
More hard work.
More fun.
More family.
More love.
More basketball.
Baseball.
College tennis.
More every day.
More everything. More
to come.
More Wilson.
Find everything you need for the perfect outdoor living space at Russell Do-It Center, like the Fire Rock Outdoor Conventional Fireplace, smartly designed masonry systems that are easy to install and are less than half the cost of a scratch-built brick and mortar fireplace. Weber Grills, the best outdoor gas, electric, and charcoal grills, which always come pre-assembled. Yeti Coolers, premium coolers and accessories that are the ultimate in design, performance, and durability. Russell Do-It Center, experience and knowledge from the pros.
Have you heard the news? Your favorite chick is now online. That's right, you can now get Chicken Salad Chick even faster by visiting order.chickensaladchick.com. Chicken Salad Chick, born in Alabama and serving the best chicken salad around.
Welcome back to Inside the AHSAA. I'm your host, Luke Robinson. I want to welcome in now a very frequent visitor to Inside the AHSAA, and that's Mr. John Garcia from 24/7 Sports. John, how's it going?
Doing well. Football season in full swing, so no complaints.
Definitely in full swing, and I'll tell you, John, one of my favorite players of all time, not just because he played at the University of Alabama and he was such a great player there, but because I saw his highlight reel way back in, 1991? And that's Mr. David Palmer. He was one of the more electric players I ever saw in high school football at Jackson-Olin. Well, they've got another guy that you highlighted just today, Mr. A.J. Toney, who looks a lot like David Palmer. He's a shorter guy, strong guy, maybe not blazing speed, but he's certainly fast enough, and he has a knack for scoring on the special teams. What do you think about this kid, and are my comparisons validated?
Yeah, locals there, and this was communicated to me through J.O.'s head coach, Tim Vakakis. He said that around there, they say he is the next David Palmer. They rank him 1A, 1B with respect to the elder as 1A. So I think there are a lot of similarities. I actually watched some David Palmer video today. I think David's probably a little bit faster. But when you talk about the ability to run the ball, catch the ball, return kicks and punts, and that just God-given ability to be elusive, to stop on a dime, change direction, reroute, spin, kind of just instinctive plays, that's really where it feels very comparable between the two. The only difference right now is that Toney doesn't have those SEC offers that David obviously did at the tail end of his career. I don't know if he'll get to that point, but AJ is a surefire Division I guy. If I'm a G5 school like a Memphis, Toledo, somebody who's going to throw the football all around, I'm all in on a guy like this who you can give the ball to on a jet sweep, bubble screen, and he's a pretty good route runner traditionally as well. So he can do so many things for an offense, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And one thing I was talking to a friend of mine about today in remembering David Palmer's recruitment, because I happened to be a student at Alabama at the time when he was being recruited, he didn't have a ton of offers going into his senior year, a lot like A.J. Toney. He was not an unknown, but he wasn't considered one of the top 15 players in the state. It was his big-time senior year that propelled him to be either the number 1 or number 2 player in the state that year. And, here's A.J. Toney, like you said, he's a little unheralded. He doesn't have a lot of, I don't even know if he has a star ranking, to be honest with you. And now he's starting to get some SEC.
3 with us.
He does have a 3 with you guys. Okay. So he, hopefully, this will, after a big senior year, he will be able to make some waves and maybe get the attention of an Alabama or an Auburn.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going to benefit him. Like I said, in today's age, a guy like that is much more marketable than when David Palmer did it, which makes it even more impressive that he was able to ascend to that point. But now there's precedent. So I think with the spread systems and everybody wanting to throw the ball around and get guys into matchups in space, somebody's going to fall in love with him. J.O. is 3-0 right now. He scored running, passing, receiving, returning touchdowns. He's kind of done all he physically can through 3 games, and I don't think that's going to slow down anytime soon. The coach there said he's the best player on the field every Friday, and J.O. has had multiple SEC guys, and right now on defense alone, they've got a guy committed to Clemson and another committed to Auburn, yet it's Toney who the coach says is the best product on Friday nights, and I think that says a ton.
Well, it also says a lot that he's able to do this because in practice every day he's going up against those 2 guys because he's on offense and the other 2 on defense. So, and I think in your story, both of those 2 guys sung his praises as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where his recruitment goes here towards the end. I know that the Alabama coaches have been talking to him, so we'll see what happens. It's certainly not unprecedented for a guy his size to end up at a very large school and do well at the next level. Is there anybody else in the state of Alabama that has surprised you so far this year and that may get a bump in the rankings towards the end of the year?
Yeah, that's a good question, Luke. We're on Tuesdays, we really try to take a good look at tape and kind of play a little bit of catch-up. And I think you go all across the state and you're seeing guys, a guy who I'm liking more and more is already established. He's actually committed to LSU from down in Mobile. Chris Abrams-Drain, Luke, this is a guy that we heard about since middle school. And those guys rarely live up to the hype, but he is doing it and then some. We just talked about Toney as a guy who plays everywhere. Well, Drain does the same thing, but also plays cornerback. He moved to quarterback this past Friday and really propelled Spanish Fort through the end of that game. So this is a dynamic kid, just a junior, who we've had kind of right around that top 247 range. But the more we see him, I think he's one that'll be closer to that top 100, 150 range. So it's not all about the sleepers emerging. Sometimes you get a much better look and feel with guys who are established. And just like Toney, Chris is getting more and more interest. Alabama now recruiting him. He may go to Auburn on Saturday to watch them play the team he's committed to in LSU. So you can go from no stars or no offers to a few and really turn heads, or you could also go from a handful of offers to exploding and have every school in the South want you. I think Chris Abrams-Drain has a chance to do that.
Well, John, we look forward to having you on the Scoreboard Show this Friday night. Are you going to be at a game this weekend?
Weather permitting. Obviously, everybody's keeping a close eye on the weather with these hurricanes in the Atlantic, but that is always the plan. We are headed out to some games. Not sure if it'll be in Florida or across the border in Alabama, but in the next couple of weeks, I'll be up there regardless.
All right, buddy. Well, be safe. We need you here on Inside the AHSAA and on the Scoreboard Show. You can't go anywhere.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there, rain or shine. You know it.
All right, buddy. Have a good day, okay?
Okay, Luke. Thanks for having me.
John Garcia from Scout.com does an incredible job, and we really do appreciate his taking a few moments to be on with us to talk about A.J. Toney. A.J. Toney really has exploded onto the scene, and if you get an opportunity, go check out some of his highlights. They are really, really incredible to see, and they are very much David Palmer-esque. And those of you old enough to remember David Palmer in high school, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That's going to do it for this segment of Inside the AHSAA. We'll be back in just a minute to wrap the show up.
Have you heard the news? Your favorite chick is now online. That's right, you can now get Chicken Salad Chick even faster by visiting order.chickensaladchick.com. Chicken Salad Chick, born in Alabama and serving the best chicken salad around.
No, wrong! Bring it in, guys! Take a knee! Let's go over this again. Who starts off with a real Coke taste? Coca-Cola! And then Coca-Cola pitches the real Coke taste to who? Coca-Cola! How is Coca-Cola going to give real Coke taste to itself? Take a lap, genius! Coca-Cola takes a snap and then pitches the real Coke taste to Coke Zero running up on the right. You got it? Yeah! At that point, we fake punt the real Coke taste. Who fakes the punt?
Coke Zero.
Take a lap! Coke Zero! Real Coke taste! 0 calories!
Have you heard the news? Your favorite chick is now online. That's right, you can now get Chicken Salad Chick even faster by visiting order.chickensaladchick.com. Chicken Salad Chick, born in Alabama and serving the best chicken salad around.
Hello, my name is Dave Milton with Southeastern Land Group. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company. We sell farmland and timberland in Alabama and the surrounding states. Not only do we have a land sales division, but we also have a timber sales division where we can help you with your timber sales and your timber appraisals. There's 22 of us in our group scattered throughout the southeastern United States. We are a full-service land and timber sales company. We do with farmland, timberland, cattle property, poultry farms. 866-751-LAND. Go to the website, selandgroup.com.
What do you see when you think about your future?
Do you see determination that keeps you going, that helps you make a difference in your world?
Do you see challenges that make you stronger?
Southern Union State Community College realizes that your opportunities for greatness are unlimited. Your journey has just begun.
So that's going to do it for Inside the AHSAA. Thank you again for being with us. Do appreciate that each and every week. Also want to thank Lizi Arbogast for joining us, as well as John Garcia, our resident recruiting expert. He does a great job every single time he comes on. Always learn something when John Garcia is on the air. We will catch you next week when we have more of Inside the AHSAA.